Hello and welcome to the Frontier. I just heard a bunch of dogs outside, so that's already starting us off on this note. Welcome to the Heart's Frontier. I'm Kate, and if this is your first time joining, then welcome, and make sure that you like and subscribe if you do like the video so that you can see it again, or some similar to this anyways. You might not need to repeat this video. And then anyone who is returning, just hey, and it's so nice to have you back. I'm here for the weekly collective energy reading. So this is the general collective energy for going into this week. And I am feeling like a lot of new beginnings, a lot of starting, and a lot of self-care is sort of what is coming up. So it feels like light, positive kind of energy with some sort of self-care notes. I'm curious what is going on with you and how you're feeling in your world. I'm noticing in my circles that people are feeling, I'm finding almost it's in this, I've been talking about this for a little while. It feels like there's quite a divide. There's a lot of folks who are feeling a lot of intense stagnation and lows. And what I mean by lows as well, it could simply be low energy and feeling as though you're cycling through maybe thoughts of the past or just sort of condensing memories or something, or just might feel like, yeah, you're sleepy, or that you just can't seem to get what you need done, or this sort of stagnant energy is something that I feel is starting to lift if you allow it. And so there's sort of a choice you make when you're in that kind of energy, which is, I would say, a lower vibration kind of state. And it's not your fault. There's a reason why you're in that state. And it's because you're meant to do some sort of inner work and healing. And so if you are, feeling this way and really looking for a way out, to shift the energy and to really, bust through this stagnation or that block that you're feeling, feel free to book a link, book a session with me. The links are down below, so you can do that. But as far as the people who are on this reading, there's like a mix. There's people who are sort of in this ascension process, and there's people who are feeling their ascension process, but really feeling more of the, what I would call ascension flu symptoms. So you're feeling a little bit more dragged down by it. But please know that when you are dealing with things is when you're also learning things. And we say, like, what triggers us has the capacity to heal us. So whatever you're coming up at, or up with this week, I'm really feeling tongue-tied, and I wasn't like this in the last reading that I did. So I'm also wondering whether this week there might be, it might be hard to find the words. It might be hard to find the words. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, so we have ascension here. And I am definitely feeling also a lot of, I've been getting a lot of Egypt and Egyptian imagery in my dreams and things. So if that resonates with you, then there you go. And says, move into your true self, rise above the darkness, the light is here. So how fitting is that for how I was feeling about this? Okay, we have body care and divine guidance. So yeah, it feels as though you're being told what would help. So I hear lots of different pieces of advice coming at you, and different ideas of what could solve this or resolve or help you with this ascension. So if you're on the side that I will address, if you're on the side that is really in a positive sort of ascension vibe right now, then this is really talking about how can you further support that so that it is properly integrated and, stabilized as you incorporate this new higher energy or higher frequency into your life. Now, if all of this talk of like energy and frequency and that is sort of a little bit over your head at this moment, don't worry. You also might be feeling some of these flu symptoms, because often when you're awake in a sort of embracing of it, these symptoms may not affect you as much. And so if you've been able to land in a soft place for this time, then it should sort of feel like lighter energy. But if you're coming in from a lot of chaos and or just a lot of change, sometimes you go through a lot of change and it's hard to just absorb what's next. That may be why you're feeling resistance, and that's why you're getting physical symptoms. So that was a lot of thoughts all at once. But hey, let me know if any of it resonates. And I'm also going to show you this Freya card, which is phases and cycles. So be aware this is actually maybe a warning and a piece of wisdom for both sides, that if you're in this place of the stagnation sort of side of things, or the flu physical symptom sort of side of things, where you know it's because you've just had a lot going on and it feels more like stress symptoms, then you may find that this is simply a phase and a cycle. So this is a time where things are being released. So if you can see it as, if you see it from this place of energy is where it starts, and so physical is the sort of almost like a graduated, it's almost like it becomes physical after it's already been in an energetic state for a while. So when you look at the physical symptoms showing up, it could simply be things pushing their way out and just finally releasing. And I find this sometimes that just before or just after a big period of a lot of expansion energy, there's a little bit of a dip, almost like if you've ever done a food cleanse or anything like that, where you get sort of some ill feelings as you're starting the cleanse, and then you'll start to see the benefits. But then if you go back to eating different foods, you may feel that again. It's sort of like that kind of cycle, right? Which is funny because I just recently did a food cleanse, but I've actually felt good energy since. So at least that's a positive. But it does feel like there have been some endings, or there are maybe continuing to be some endings in your life. And that's very natural for ascension. And what I mean by ascension is just getting more energy and feeling more connected to your purpose. Truly, that is what I mean by it right now. Okay, let's see what angel support is here, because it really feels like a lot of what we in the shamanic sort of understanding here would call the upper world. And so upper world is very much this place of humanoid figures. It's a light kind of environment. I wouldn't say it's a dimension of only light. That is something, but it's something different. This is more like ancestors and figures and guardian angels and deities and gods, goddesses, however it is that you personify. Ascended masters is what people would call them as well. Okay, I'm getting, okay. So enchantment is one of these energies that we're being asked to bring in. So basically it's like we're asking ourselves to allow it in, because enchantment is available to us and seeing the magic in things is available to us. Should we accept that? Because to be honest, believing in the magic of things, in chanting, having an enchanting life, believing in that is actually quite unconventional. There's actually there's a lot of stuff about living a positive life, but living a life that is because the positive is really a lot more masculine, the way that we see it, right? We see it like, just do it, Nike. But we see it like we're meant to live a positive life actively, and that you have to, do a lot for that. This is really about accepting the magic that inherently just exists in our world, because how many wacky, wild, coincidental, synchronous, magical things have happened in your life. And so it's saying like, you're being told by your guides here to really solidify that that's okay for you to see, because you're accepting more light, and because you're either looking for a way out. So I'm asking you to do your best to find ways to believe in magic or find magic, however you define that. I don't mean like spells. I just mean, beauty, really, and magnificence, maybe, of synchronicities. And then if you are ascending, it's really important for you to ground your belief system here, because you're already aware of how magical this world is. And so you're being made to solidify it in deeper ways than you have before. I'm also seeing children here, and I'm seeing that there's something about your childhood that you're needing to forgive someone. I mean, of course, in everyone's childhood, someone has harmed us, because that's life as a human. I would love, if you weren't hurt as a child, drop a comment below. I would love to know if someone could get through their whole childhood not being hurt. It feels as though this one is like specifically about a person, and maybe a person where you've been reflecting a lot on your relationship lately. And it may simply be not that the person has made any great changes to their behaviors or to your relationship. It may be that you don't have a relationship. It feels like at this point, simply letting go of any resentments is what you're being asked to do, just because it doesn't really make sense to hold that in your heart. So the bitter or resentment sort of base feelings that you're getting, they're not being sent to the other person. So the validity of them being there really just gives them more control or more power over your life. So that will resonate with whoever it needed to, but it feels as though something potentially stuck in your childhood or relating to a childhood wound that you're very aware of. You would be like very aware that you're getting triggered for childhood based things. Yeah, you're being asked to forgive those who harmed you in the past, because they didn't really know what they were doing. And if they did, then, they've obviously been hurt in ways that they have not been able to reconcile with. And that's not something that you're going to be able to help them with. It's something they're going to have to figure out on their own. So at least forgiving them for the experience it had on you and letting it be in your mind is what you're being asked to do this week. Let's get one more card. Mystical Shaman Oracle deck, I think. Overarching energy this week. The Owl. Interesting. I saw an owl recently in my mind's eye. I wasn't sure whether it would show up here. Been singing about an owl a lot lately as well. Very interesting. This is the Owl card, if you'd like to see it. I love showing off these cards. Mystical Shaman Oracle deck is one of my favorites. That's the book for it. At some point, I'll get Amazon affiliate links so that if you want to go buy the books, or maybe, I don't know, if anyone knows if Louise Hay does an affiliate, I would rather support a smaller business than Amazon. But if you need to buy decks of cards, I understand that that's, sometimes our only option at this time as well. Not everyone has an abundance of new age shops around them or anything. So, okay. Owl is the master of the night. She can see situations with perfect clarity, more so when it is dark, and it is able to discern truth when others are sightless. She helps you find your light and your lightness in the darkest moments of your life, and to embrace the night as your ally. So yes, those who are on the very aware that they're in a light energy right now and on this ascension path and feeling it, be aware that the only reason you're able to hold that much capacity for light is because you've also held that equal depth of dark and shadow. And so you have to, when you ascend, hold space for both in order to land it, if that makes sense. So as you're getting this really, really large increase in energy and feeling very connected to divinity and your source, you have to land that down here and be okay with and accept and almost make peace or make friends with your pain and shadows, and I would say lower world things, darker things, traumas, etc., maybe fears, limitations. You need to make peace with those and sort of ground them at the same time. So I'm not telling you, oh, you really need to focus right now, but just be aware that that lightness and brevity of feeling is because you're reaching a new height, but you're not meant to stay at that height if you're not feeling grounded and connected. So as soon as you can do that and try to maintain, that steadiness of energy, that's when you feel more complete, right? Because really, if you're going through an ascension, and you'll know this if you've experienced one, if you're going through a little awakening, a little ascension sort of time where you're increasing your energy, sometimes you're not feeling here. You're feeling sort of floaty or in between worlds. So that's what the owl is helping us with here. So the reason you're being either going through these physical symptoms or that lethargy, that sort of tired, dense energy, is because you're actually receiving a lot of downloads or you're receiving new energy. So it kind of feels like a bit of a weight. But when you're able to absorb it, and that's the thing about absorption, being a clear channel, then you're going to be able to feel those things coming in. So you're getting messages from the non-ordinary reality right now. And I'm really, really being drawn to ears. I've been drawn to ears a lot lately in ear healing, but just really being drawn to point that out, that if you are listening to a lot, or if you feel like you need to clear your ear, like chakras, ear energy, maybe put some attention towards that this week. Yeah, and look for hidden messages, and make sure that it really is focusing on the hearing. Make sure that you're hearing things correctly. Feels like some of the folks, you're viewing what people are saying, not with absolute reality. You're sort of putting your own, and it's okay to put your own emotions like with things, but it feels as though you're making more of words than was meant or something. It's a little message that came in there. And it says also, remember that the facets that you dislike are often mirrors of the parts that you don't want to recognize. So this is as it relates to, if you're judging other people or if you're holding resentments, it has to do with this forgiveness thing. So whoever it is that you're having some type of resentment towards right now, or some type of bitterness towards, just take a moment and really, I mean this, apply yourself to thinking, what is this person showing me that I don't like? And now look at that stuff and say, where is that in me? And find the answer. Find the answer for where is that thing that's really bothering me? How can I figure out what is in me that needs to shift? Because ultimately, ultimately, it's not in a peaceful way to go through your life and react to other people's behaviors as indicative of you, or as if it's something that you can control or change. Okay, very interesting. I would like to get one more card. I really do feel, okay, an animal card. I just really wanted like one more support. That owl sort of uncovered some energy. And yeah, I don't always like leaving exposed. Yeah, time to collaborate. I like that, Ant Spirit. So if you are still trying to put together something, if you are getting all these ideas or you're feeling really inspired, try reaching out. And if you're not feeling inspired, try reaching out, because I feel like there's a lot of people who are going to be able to help each other. It feels like some of the people who are feeling really light and good energy right now are actually in need of these people who are feeling that density, to remind them to be grateful and to understand what that is like. So if you're on that camp of, I feel like I'm kind of the, if you're like, oh, I'm sort of the lethargic, like I haven't really been feeling up to things, or I just feel like a lot is exhausting me or overwhelming me lately, then try talking to someone, especially someone who you might view as having that kind of energy right now. And it doesn't have to be me, right? It can be anyone in your life that you feel has that light energy, because you're needing that, and they're needing to understand your perspective. So don't feel like you're not worth the time, because you are absolutely teaching and showing others how to be human by experiencing the depth of feeling, however deep it is that you're feeling it on that side. So kind of, yeah, a bit of a polar message, sort of opposites here, but I really do feel like we're meant to be talking to each other. So keep the lines of communication open with all the people in your life who feel like you're being called to. It feels like you're getting sent like direct paths towards people, either to reconnect or to deepen your connection with. So wishing you well this week. Let me know if any of this resonates, or if any of it comes up for you, the child forgiveness stuff, the collaborating with others, and potentially as well, the magic and enchantment piece. And yeah, if you're on either side, I would love to know the balance and where people are at right now. So take care. Please do like the video if you got here, then obviously you've been watching. So like the video, then we can grow the channel, have more people here. We can actually have discussions rather than just here and there comments. But I am so thankful to be here, and I so appreciate every one of you watching, and I see the views, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you so much, and take care.